Hey there folks, John here from Biddy Kong's Quest, and today I've got something a little bit different for you guys. A couple weeks ago I got a package in the mail and it was just chock full of goodies from a game that I backed on Kickstarter like 9 months ago. And that game was Kudzu. Now, if you've heard of this game, I would be kind of surprised, just because I think it was a relatively small one, but I honestly don't even really remember how I found it myself. But this game was actually made by the same guy that's working on Little Nemo and the Nightmare Fiends, which is another game that I've been following really closely. If those of you guys who've been around for a while, it's no secret that I'm an absolutely huge Little Nemo fan. So I think that might have been how I heard about this, from the Discord around that game or something like that. But then when I went and looked at it, I also realized this game takes major inspiration from two of my favorite Game Boy games of all time. So when I saw that, I realized, you know, this game was made for me. I should probably pick it up. And then when I got it in the mail a couple weeks ago, I was absolutely shocked with the amount of stuff that came with this Kickstarter version of this game. And immediately I knew I had to make a video on it. It's just super cool, and there's just a ton of stuff there, and it would make for a great unboxing. So we're going to check out Kudzu, we're going to look at the game, we're going to talk about you know, the gameplay, the music, all that stuff, and then we're going to take a look at what came with that Kickstarter version, because it is super cool. So without further ado, here we go. Okay, so this is Kudzu, and it takes inspiration from a couple of my absolute favorite Game Boy games. As soon as I saw the Kickstarter that would go up for this thing, and I saw the screenshots, and I saw the video, I knew this one was right up my alley, because it plays a lot like Link's Awakening for the Game Boy, which is actually my favorite Zelda of all time. I know that's a weird pick. I know a lot of people at Ocarina of Time or Breath of the Wild or whatever. For me, Link's Awakening was my first Zelda that I really ever got into. I got that one before I got the NES Zelda or Zelda 2. And that was the first one that really introduced me to Zelda as a series. And then also I really love the sense of humor in Link's Awakening, and how it's kind of irreverent and doesn't take itself too seriously. Makes a lot of references to other games, those sorts of things that a lot of other Zeldas don't do. I think that's pretty cool. And so when I saw a game that looked kind of like that and kind of really captured that sprite work and that character that the original Link's Awakening had, and you can see it on the screens here, and I was like, okay, well, this is clearly meant for me. So I played through about probably 45 minutes of it so far. I want to go ahead and get a video out about it and not really do a full review, because I don't want to spoil anything anyway. But this one, it plays a lot like Link's Awakening, but it also plays a little bit like The Frog for Whom the Bell Tolls. And if you've never heard of that one, it was actually the game that the director of Link's Awakening made before he made Link's Awakening, and it has a kind of a similar kind of sense of humor to it. And there's actually even a couple of references to The Frog for Whom the Bell Tolls in Link's Awakening. And so there's a lot of different little callbacks to both The Frog for Whom the Bell Tolls and Link's Awakening. By the way, if you've never heard of the Frog for Whom the Bell Tolls, and man, that's a mouthful, I keep saying it over and over, that's because it's actually a Japan exclusive. However, there is a fan translation online I would highly recommend checking out. It's a really fun game, kind of unique. It's not real-time combat like Link's Awakening, but the exploration is very much like Link's Awakening, and it's just really funny. Got a lot of heart and a lot of humor. And a great Game Boy game if you guys are into Game Boy games, which I'm assuming you are because you're still watching this video, right? But anyway, Kudzu takes a lot of inspiration from both of those things, and I've actually really enjoyed it so far. You know, the controls themselves are a little bit looser than Link's Awakening, but if you play a lot of homebrews like I do, you kind of have a little bit more tolerance for controls that may not be quite as tight. That's not to say all homebrews don't have that, because, you know, ones like the Cowlitz Gamer's Second Adventure and some other ones do. But for this one, it feels a little bit loose, but that's not really to its detriment. It's just, it feels a little bit more like a homebrew, which again is fine when the sprite work is this good. The music is fantastic in this game, and I've really just been really impressed with it. So if it looks good to you, I mean, I would highly recommend pick this one up, because this one's really a ton of fun. With a lot of humor and a lot of heart. Now, the other part of this video too is I got this as a Kickstarter game. So I backed this on Kickstarter, and I got a bunch of extras with it. And for anybody that knows and does a lot of stuff with Kickstarter, you know those extras are one of the main reasons you do it, because there's all kinds of really cool stuff. So we're gonna take this thing and go over to the workbench where we unboxed Blast Core last week and show you guys all the cool stuff that came with it, because it was a really sweet special edition. So let's go over there. Okay, so this is Kudzu. Now, there's a bunch of stuff that came with this physical edition. Like I said, I got this on Kickstarter, and a lot of times on Kickstarter, obviously, you get a bunch of extra goodies and stuff, but this is the game itself, and I went ahead and just kind of got this open. I had to use a little sputter to get this open without getting that crease in there, but I went ahead and just got this open for you guys just so you can see. Here's the back of the box. I can zoom in a little bit more probably so you guys can see it. So there's a sinister plant, a creeping labyrinth, a sprawling adventure. This game was made by Mega Cat Studios. I probably said that in the video earlier. They make a lot of homebrew games and or publish a lot of homebrew games, but it was also made by the same guy that made Little Nemo and the Nightmare Fiends, which again I mentioned earlier. But it's a pretty well constructed little box, and you can see there's screenshots here on the back. It's kind of a top-down, kind of Zelda-ish game, as you've probably seen from the gameplay, but it's just got some screenshots back here, and then the story and everything like that. Again, this is probably available online. You can look it up if you want to see what the actual back says, but that is it. So I will say it's not a box that's exactly like an old Game Boy box. Let me zoom out just a little bit here. It's actually pretty shiny. You can see it's like really reflective. That's not normal glossiness for a Game Boy box. This is actually way glossier than a normal box would be. I'm fine with that. It's not a problem. It's just something that was interesting and different to me. So if I open it up here, you can see the inside is a little bit different than a normal Game Boy box. A lot of Game Boy boxes, you would either have a little flap that comes open right here, or maybe a tray that slides out. When you get the game out, well, actually the manual came out first. So there's the manual, and then the game actually came just by itself. It didn't come in the little plastic protector. Hold on just a second and I'll grab one. Okay, so like for instance, a lot of third-party games that come in, and in old NES games too, but this is a third-party one so I could show you, come in just like a little plastic protector like this, like Game Boy games we used to. And so it's just this little guy. This is the first Game Boy homebrew that I've gotten that did not come in one of these. So that was an interesting thing. Not that it's really a big deal. I have extras of these lying around, and then you can just put it in there and boom, it's just like it always was in there to begin with. But that is worth mentioning. It did not come in a plastic protector, as most do. But here's the manual. So let's put the game aside. Let's look at the manual a little bit. Obviously, it is named Kudzu. You guys know that by now. I noticed this manual actually has a decent amount of art in it. So the prologue, this tells the story. Again, I summarized that earlier, but basically the master gardener disappeared and his apprentice has to go look for him. Tells you how to control it. Again, we've got some actual art here. They didn't have to go to all the trouble of doing all the art in the book if they didn't want to. But talking about saving your game, this is an old school game. You do have to go save, and if you die, then you have to go start back at the save point. Different gardening tools you get. Right now I've only got the machete because I haven't played it that much yet, but it's pretty fun so far. Rakes, gardening gloves, boots. So basically all these different things that you can get that are normal like gardening items, but in this world they are weapons and things and tools. It also tells about the characters. This is kind of a throwback to old Game Boy guides. A lot of times they would just give you summaries of the characters and things. It's pretty cool. Like I said, this has a lot of references and homages to both A Link to the Past and The Frog for Whom the Bell Tolls. This Ethel, the alligator person, and it says alligator person right there. I imagine that's probably a reference to the crocodile character in A Link to the Past. I haven't gotten this far yet, but I would imagine that's probably where that reference is coming from, because again, this game wears its heart on its sleeve. You know exactly what it's pulling from. And then you have all your different enemies and other stuff. So this is one of those things where I would consider this manual kind of a non-essential manual. Like it's a pretty simple game. You don't need to necessarily know any of this stuff. You'll figure it out. But you know, it's really cool to have, and it's really cool to have the artwork and everything. And then there's the little goat there. He's a cute little goat. And that's the manual. So that's what it comes with. Just the game, the manual, and then the box here. So there you go. But this is a Kickstarter project, and so there's more stuff to it. So we're gonna set this stuff aside for right now, and let's go get some of the other stuff. So it comes with some postcards. So there's one. And then on the back you can see there's actually a place to write. Not that anybody ever actually uses these to send in the mail, but it does exist. I'll go ahead and do this again here. So there you go. So you got some artwork on postcard there. I think there's another postcard in here, maybe not. Oh no, this is another postcard. This is another postcard. I thought this was a sticker sheet, but this is another postcard with some of the enemy artwork on it. You can see again, there's on the back, and you got the plant and the goat and the snake. Also some concept art there too, which is pretty cool. I love seeing concept art on things. And then you've also got a sheet of stickers. Now, I will not probably stick these stickers on anything. I'll probably keep them with the game. That said, I don't know that I would have anything to stick them on anyway. I'm not a huge sticker guy, but it's cool to have them. It's cool to have the artwork. Again, love the goat. It's a really fun character. And it also comes with a little poster. Now, an emphasis on little poster. This isn't a huge poster. Gonna go and zoom out so you guys can see it. It actually fits on my workbench completely. And you can see it. You can see this is the size of my hand, so it's really only about the size of two of my hands, top to bottom. But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's got the artwork for the game and everything. You can see this is the same artwork that was on the title or the box here. This is just the expanded version of it, so that's pretty sweet. And then it also came with, and I know some people or this will excite some people. Again, this isn't really my thing. It came with a pen of the goat pen. My camera will focus. And this is an actual pen that you would like put on your bag or something like that. This I might use. I might put it on my backpack. We'll see. And then it also comes with a Mega Cat Studios keychain, and I actually really like the Mega Cat Studios logo. I think it's really cool. So that's pretty cool. That I actually might put on my backpack as a keychain because I think it's kind of sick. So there you go. So it came with that. And then the last thing it came with is actually unique to me. I'm gonna have to zoom all the way out for this one probably. And that is a vinyl. Now I have never actually bought a vinyl before. I don't have a record player, although I would love to get one. My dad had one growing up, but he got rid of it long before I ever got into any kind of this stuff. But yeah, so for 60 bucks, you also got a vinyl included with the game. I have to say, this is probably one of the best values I've ever gotten on Kickstarter in terms of games that, or in terms of stuff that comes with the game, except maybe for Dungeons and Doom Nights, which was a really, really cool special edition. Definitely check out that video if you've never seen it. It even came with a like a player's guide that was kind of like a mock version of Nintendo Power. That was kind of sick. But anyway, enough about that one. This is the vinyl for Kudzu, so I'm gonna go ahead and take it out for you guys. But there you go. That is the vinyl for Kudzu. Hopefully my camera's focusing there so you guys can see it. And you can see my ring light right there. But yeah, so it came with a vinyl. I think there's, yep, the Mega Cat Studios logo on the back, which is pretty sick. But yeah, this is my very first vinyl. So pretty excited about that. You guys have heard the music all throughout this video, so you'll know, you know, what this music sounds like. And that is pretty cool. So all told, you get the vinyl, right? the game itself with the box and the manual. You got the stickers underneath. I'll put the manual right there so you can see the stickers. You got 2 postcards. And you also got a poster. That is a lot of stuff for 60 bucks. Oh, and we can't forget our pins, our keychain and our goat pin. So there you go. That's a lot of stuff for 60 bucks, man. I mean, it's hard to do better than that. So pretty excited about this this special edition, this Kickstarter edition. And I think it's pretty sick. And I'm actually really happy that I sprung for it. I almost didn't do this one, but I did want to support Chris, the guy that made it, since he made Little Nemo and the Nightmare Fiends, or is making Little Nemo and the Nightmare Fiends, and I wanted to support him because I think that game is really cool too, and just wanted to support his work. So this is Kudzu. It's really cool special edition, and that's about it for the unboxing. So let's head back to the chair and wrap this up. So that'll about do it for this one, but I just wanted to shine a spotlight on this game because over the short time I've had it, I've been really impressed with what it has to offer, and I kind of just wanted to share it with you guys. Now, I know this has been a little bit of a shorter video than the Blast Core one last week, and sometimes I think that's okay, but we'll be back again next week with another video, so until that time, like, comment, subscribe, do all that YouTube stuff, and I'll see you guys next time.